I welcome everyone. Thanks for being here. Today is July 29th, and we are having our weekly media briefing, and we have some guests with us here to give us an update. First thing we're going to talk about is Mindfest. So over the past year, we've highlighted health in terms of the pandemic, and also health as far as the pressing mental health needs here in our community. So this Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Wave, the Journalism Collaborative, in partnership with the Wichita Library and others, will host Mindfest. The goal of this event is to connect people with mental health organizations in Wichita to help fight the stigma of mental health issues. The collaborative launched in March of 2020 with coverage and information sharing of the COVID-19 pandemic and made a switch to focus on mental health earlier this year. The current series of mental health coverage and information sharing is called Mindful Solutions. Here to tell us more about this is Deborah with KMUW, one of the partners of the collaborative, to discuss the event. So Deborah?
Thank you. Hi, I'm Deborah Frazier with KMUW, and we are one of 10 organizations that are media organizations, community service organizations, part of the Wichita Journalism Collaborative. Others involved are KSN TV, Wichita Eagle, the library. We have the Sunflower newspaper, the head of which, Amy DeVault, has joined us today. Thank you. She helped head up the project that was sort of herding media cats. We also have the WSU Elliott School and Active Age and Community Voice and ABC Bilingue. I believe that is all 10. So those 10 groups are joining now to try to shed some light on this by having a public event with 10 mental health support organizations. One of those, of course, is the Mental Health Association. So we're really glad that Eric Litweiler could come and support us here today. So the point of this is to shed light on mental health so that we can all talk about it some more. And this is our fun way of doing that. And Haley Krausen, also of KMUW, will tell you more about the fun part of what's happening this weekend.
Hey everyone, we are so excited to present Mindfest 2021. It's going to be an afternoon of fun while learning so much about mental health resources offered right here in Wichita. So we have a great lineup of local bands throughout the day, featuring Pretend Friend, Latina singer Daisy Sosa, and Crusoe. And we even have free yoga, free massages, and nachos for all attendees. And one of the most exciting parts is that the first 250 people in the door get these free swag bags with things like stress balls, sleep masks, and so much more. So we even have this for you, Mr. Mayor. We hope we'll see you on Saturday. And again, everyone is invited, free to the public, Saturday at Wave from 2 to 5 p.m. So thank you.
Yeah, we're getting into budget season, so I'm wondering if I can get 6 more of these for the council, the stress balls. That would be helpful. It's going to be if they come, okay, well, we'll let them know, but thank you. And who knew that you could talk about mental health in a fun way without involving a pig? But just a shout out to the Mental Health Association of South Central Kansas. So with that, we're going to talk a little bit about our partnership with Botanica and with the Wichita Community Foundation that was announced during the State of the City. It was an initiative called the Wellness in the Gardens. The program was funded by the Wichita Community Foundation and facilitated by our friends over at Botanica. The program allowed our medical personnel to utilize the gardens at no cost in order to support mental health wellness after a year marked with stress and uncertainty. So here to provide us an update is Botanica's director, Marty Miller. So Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the media. Well, we all know that Botanica is a beautiful garden, but what we don't know is what really happens inside of it. And so as the pandemic went on, we knew that people were stressing. And with the initiative that the mayor came up with an idea and announced it at his State of the City address, we started doing a wellness program in the gardens. And it began with the blooming of the tulips, of 66,000 tulips. And what a de-stressor when you go in and look at that and everything. We marketed this to Ascension Via Christi and Wesley, to all frontline healthcare workers, and that has expanded to some of the other hospitals in the region, actually, that also were frontline healthcare workers. So far, we've had over 4,000 healthcare workers come and visit the gardens, and they tell us how much they appreciate that they have a moment in time to go into the gardens, de-stress, refresh, and think about something else besides all of the issues that they've had to deal with all the pandemic and the sickness and the patients that they've had. And we have talked to some who they just broke down in tears. And so we have other things. We have a wishing tree that people can write down their wish, their hope. So Botanica gives people hope. And they'll hang their little tag on the tree of what it is, and they kind of know what it is, and they know it's there. And we have this wellness walk that actually has signage to remind people to stop and feel nature and smell nature and listen. And we start to feel our inner selves, so it's a refreshment not only to our minds but also to our soul. And Botanica it's been a real privilege for us to be part of this refreshing, de-stressing, and providing this opportunity for our frontline healthcare workers. This program is going to continue until the end of September. Hopefully, things will go well. If it doesn't, we need to have another talk to consider on keeping it up and keeping it going. So Botanica is proud to be part of this community, and we're also proud to be an asset to the frontline healthcare workers in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. Really just can't thank Marty enough. I remember months ago as we started getting the vaccines out, I was still on my weekly calls with our medical professionals and leadership of both our hospitals, and some of the feedback that folks were experiencing who were just frontline working with people who were battling and admitted to the hospital for COVID. It was trauma. People were processing trauma, and just thinking about what can we do as a small thank you, but also for a moment of peace. And calling Marty and asking, can Botanica play a role in this, where folks can come, show their medical badge, and then be able to walk around the gardens during lunch, just to have that moment of peace. As a thank you and an acknowledgement of what they went through. And I really just want to thank the Wichita Community Foundation, because once Marty said, yeah, we're on board, and I ran it past the administration here, we had to come up with some money to help pay for it. We were at that point in a very tight budget crunch, and the Wichita Community Foundation came forward with some resources to help us fund that. So it's truly a all hands on deck approach with the city and the nonprofit community in support of the people who have just been on the front lines battling through COVID and helping keep our neighbors alive. Hopefully, like Marty says, hopefully we'll be towards the end of this pandemic soon enough in our community. But again, we see the ups and downs of this virus, so we'll have to wait and see. So with that, we got the next announcement is about the library fall gardening. And now I'd like to welcome up Sean to discuss our popular fall gardening series through the Wichita Public Library, which kicks off on August 5th. And I'm kind of laughing about this because I thought, I was telling Megan, really gardening, our library does gardening stuff now too. And this is one of those moments where once I looked into it, people are really interested in this. It's really popular. It's one of the times when I thought no one was going to be interested in our street sweeper update, and then I went out and turns out everyone was interested. So my instincts haven't been great on this. So Sean, why don't you come up and talk about this program that apparently is very, very popular.
Thank you, Mayor. It's actually so popular, in fact, that some libraries have seed libraries that they have for customers. And we've actually...
Turn the seed, or can you...
No, no. That would be difficult. Yeah, but it is popular, so who knows? We might get that someday. But I am here to talk today about the fall gardening series that we have coming up at the Wichita Public Library. We partner each spring and fall with the K-State Research and Extension Office, their Master Gardeners program, to present this series of gardening programs. And like the mayor said, they're very popular, very well attended. Pre-COVID, we would have 2 sessions a week, one at different branches. Now we're doing it virtually, hoping to return to normal for the spring series. But this year, we will be doing them on Thursday evenings from 6 to 7:30 on Zoom. You can visit wichitalibrary.org/gardening to sign up for these programs. And they begin on August 5th and run through September 2nd. Topics include turning dirt into soil, the miracle of microbes, perennials, the garden's foundation, landscape design, the ultimate guide to fall lawn care, and where's the watermelon, seasonal, local eating, and ICT. So if you're interested in farmers markets, that's a really good one for you. Again, registration is at wichitalibrary.org/gardening. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. All right, so with that, we will take questions about, and not just me, but also if you have questions for the folks who are here. Also, I'll take questions on anything else because, as you guys know, I have no filter. So, yes, ma'am.
Do you have any kind of response to the governor's announcement yesterday?
What'd she do?
You should know this.
I know. So with the mask.
Yes, in state buildings, and then people going into state buildings, they have to wear them. Is there anything that the city is going to be doing to implement more mask mandates or anything like that?
So we're in an interesting position. We have followed CDC guidelines and OSHA guidelines, particularly with our employees. We do have a responsibility to do everything we can to keep our employees as safe as possible. We've even offered on-site vaccines, not just for COVID, but even before that for the flu shot. We want to create an environment that's as safe as it can be. However, that's technically outside of my lane as mayor when it comes to how the city building is run. That is in the lane of the city manager and also of the head judge for the court part. So I think that they are likely having those conversations now. I have not had a chance to be updated from the city manager since the announcमतलब yesterday with the governor. But the bottom line is this: like, we all want to get past COVID. Like, it's like the worst roller coaster ride ever, right? Like, you think you've already gone up and down, and now it's over, and then you get something like this. And sadly, we're in a position, I'm a dad of 3 kids, and they're all supposed to be going to school this fall. And we have a highly contagious, highly variable virus that's going to be in a classroom with kids who will, 100% of them under the age of 12 won't have a vaccine. And I don't really want to, think about the worst outcomes of that scenario. So I think that right now, what we have to do as adults, not for us, not for politics, not for however we decide to interpret this, but we can all agree that we need to protect our kids. And we all need to be doing whatever it takes to make sure our kids not only get into the classrooms, but we don't start seeing reports from people like you, from the media, about something terrible happened to one of our children. So moving forward, I think that we should really be, for those folks who haven't got vaccinated yet, really be pushing folks, talk to someone you trust. Talk to your medical doctor and ask them if you are a good candidate for the vaccine. If you don't want to, just go off the information that's available online, talk to someone that you know, that you trust, who has been vaccinated. And hopefully we can get a handle on this over the next few weeks so that our kids have a better shot for a productive and healthy school year. Okay, so you got anything?
I'm very happy and satisfied with what I've got.
And you, sir?
Okay.
By the way, I used to teach, so I just call on people, so.
No problem at all. This is my first time here. Thanks.
Welcome. I saw on Twitter you guys were coming, so go ahead and introduce yourself, and then go ahead. Ask
Well, I'm Jason with Wichita TV 7. We are a internet television community broadcasting station here, and we're also part of a larger organization, which is the LNC News. And so we just wanted to say, first of all, thank you guys, and like what you're doing down here at the city. One thing that I could ask you about, as far as on the vaccines, Recently, we realized that in our newsroom, we were getting a lot of calls about a lot of different things. But within the last 24 hours, I believe that Google and Facebook have mandated vaccines for their employees. Question would be, also too, we know that the Pentagon has also mandated vaccines for people to come in, and we're looking at the federal government also too doing it. Does the city of Wichita have any plans on trying to mandate vaccines for their employees?
So we also heard that, I believe it's Via Christi, they have also mandated or put a set time for their employees to be vaccinated as well. We are seeing that throughout the private sector and now into the public sector. As far as the city goes, that's something that would have to be discussed with the city manager. I think that, what we're seeing is folks who are kind of in that middle spot where if you are vaccinated, then you can choose not to wear a mask, but if you're not vaccinated, we ask that you do wear a mask. And I think that that was really the guidelines in the beginning of the CDC, and then it kind of turned into all folks just not wearing masks, which we saw a rise in this highly contagious Delta variant. So direct answer to your question, that's really under the purview of the city manager who does all the hiring and so on. But I think that we are seeing more of a trend. So it will be interesting to see, how that evolves.
I can answer that. We're not requiring employees to be vaccinated, but we are strongly urging everyone to be vaccinated.
So, and for those who didn't hear, Megan, whose office is actually up on the 13th floor of the administration, probably has more accurate info. At this point, we are not, as a city, mandating vaccines for any employees, but are encouraging folks to get their vaccine. But again, we have been following CDC pretty closely and want to make sure that everyone is as safe as possible. And I guess I'll just throw this in there that there are opportunities for businesses, for events, for other gatherings who would like to offer vaccinations either for their employees or for the people coming to their event. There are opportunities to coordinate with our local pharmacies in getting that done. When we had our Pride event, which is a huge event over at Napster Park about a month and a half ago, we were able to get Hunter Health Clinic out there and offer vaccines to people who haven't had a vaccine. So if there are folks who are thinking about, employers or people who want to be part of the solution of ensuring that vaccines are available, they're calling. I think you want to start off with the county health department, and they can put you in touch with a partner pharmacy or Health Corps or Hunter Health Clinic might also be an option there. So just want to throw that out there that there is opportunities for people to not just require but also encourage people working within their facilities to get vaccinated if they choose to. Guys, we have really smart people here who want to ask questions. Yeah. All right, cool. Thanks a lot, everyone. Appreciate it.